Hello, welcome. This is it, the first episode of On the Bus podcast. In this podcast, we have our good friend, Jeff Morris. Jeff Morris is a doctor-to-be, currently in medical school. And in this podcast, we talk about a few ridiculous things. Vaginas, Israel, politics, and Jeff's plans for the weekend. So, without further ado, let me give you Brandon Reese, Daniel Blum, and our guest, Jeff Morris, with On the Bus podcast.
Okay.
This is it. We're doing it. Welcome, everyone. You're here at the podcast, On the Bus podcast. Brandon Reese here. We're here with Daniel Blum. And it's our first podcast with a guest. We have Dr. Jeff Morris, or soon-to-be Dr. Jeff Morris. You can also call him Money P.
Hey,
Jeff, what's going on, man?
Not much, dude. It's just good to be here, and that's pretty much it, dude. Let's get this bus ride going.
How was your day today, man? What'd you do today?
It was good. Just pretty much saw a couple patients, one vagina, which was pretty nice, but
Wait, can you tell us why you saw a vagina?
Or is that patient-doctor confidentiality?
And
are you allowed to describe vaginas? I guess that's
I guess I can't.
Question.
I really don't know. I guess I can't give you guys too many specifics. I can't say names. Like, that would just be against every single rule in the book.
But you can talk about said vaginas or penises.
If it's in the
elbows.
name, if it's in the name of education, then yeah, I could do any of that.
All right.
And I mean, it was in the name of education for me because I'm just a medical student, and so they're teaching me all about, pap smears, and so you have to kind of separate the lips of the
vagina,
the menorah. Well, and you put your speculum in there, open it up, you get a swab.
What's a speculum?
So is this on a test subject? So they have someone who's willing to just come in, spread their legs, flap it open, and go, you know what, this is for the good of society.
No, not test subjects, real human patients. Ask any woman out there. They've gotten a pap smear. Unless they're younger than 21, then that's the only way that they haven't. But if they're older,
Look
then
up what a speculum looks like, man. So
it looks almost like a gun.
Yeah, it
that
does.
You just shoot.
Like a nail clipper. What do you guys do with those things? That spreads the lips apart, or you inject
No.
something like that?
Fingers spread the lips apart. You put on your gloves. Obviously, you don't want to contaminate.
Naturally.
So you open up, then you speculate with the speculum, and then you open up the speculum.
Double opening.
And,
triple opening. A lot of specs.
There's a lot of openings involved. And then once you open the speculum, then you have to visualize the cervix, because that's actually the highest concentration of the cells that are most useful in your examination. So you open it up, visualize the cervix. You with me so far? Mm-hmm. And then you swab. Swab, send it to the lab, and then we're good to go. Hopefully, there's no squamous cells. Like, those would not be good. You do not want to see squamous cells.
I don't think I've ever heard of a squamous cell.
Yeah,
you don't want any squamous cells.
Are we asking all these questions that you
swab.
can tell us? These are scientific, educational questions, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We're learning.
Right, that's the purpose. And
Everyone's learning right now.
And clue cells also would not be good. Clue cells are not good. It's a
Can
clue.
You use a clue? Yeah.
It's a clue to something is not right. So you don't want any of those either. You want normal epithelium. Really, that's what you're looking for. And if you see that, you're like, okay, this girl's good to go. You send her on her way. But if there's one of those abnormal looking cells, then you have to tell them, listen, I'm sorry, but you have abnormal cells in your vagina, and we're gonna need to kind of investigate further what's going on.
What are the nice things that you have to, like? Because my first thought, if I had a vagina, if you told me you got cells in there we don't like, I'd be freaked the fuck out.
No one really knows what we're talking about, and they're just like, okay, we have some abnormal cells. We try to sound like as
you're obscure and abstract. I mean,
right. There's like a certain way that we talk, and it's almost hard for most people to understand. It's like you have some abnormal cellular debris in your vagina. Well, how did it get there? What are you talking about, cellular debris? Like, what's going on? Like, I mean, I only had sex once. Like, I don't get... Can you please explain this further? And you do explain it further, but many times, like, you explain it in a way where they still don't understand. And that's, like, the point, because you really just, like, don't want to, like, give all your cards away in the very beginning. You know, you want
cards away, but you're the doctor. I mean, I had the same problem when I was in the hospital, and I'm pretty aware and in tune to what's happening and what's going on. And they're like, well, you really want to know? I'm like, yes, you're going to be chopping me open. You're going to put a hose in my dick. I'm going to have a hose inside of me for 4 weeks. I want to know about this stuff. So what are you talking about? You're saying, like, we got to ease them in. We can't give them too much knowledge so soon.
If you just
You're the gatekeeper of knowledge in the doctor's office, man? Where are your keys?
Pretty much, and
check your pocket.
Right, exactly. No, yeah, we do hold all the keys, all the cards. We know
that's where I left them.
We know what's going on, and
the whole deck, even the jokers.
Yeah, both the jokers. That's 54, including the 2 jokers. So we got it all, and we're gonna try to shed some light on the rest of the cards as we go along tonight. But yeah, that's basically it. And, you know, I'm just starting, by the way. Like, I'm just like I'm new at this, and it's really like a good learning experience. Talking about the whole doctor thing.
You said you're doing like, are you doing like all around medicine right now? I mean, you're going looking at pap smears, or I know your background and focus or your eventual focus wants to be in dermatology. Are vagina lips skin? Like, is that a part of like dermatology? Like, are you just doing like all around medicine? You're working on studying this. Tomorrow you're going to be looking at maybe some skeletal structures.
See, that's the beauty of third-year medical school, is you do everything, okay? Like, last year, for example, I was on pediatrics. So, just a couple quick things on that.
I noticed you were more sick last year.
No, that's like a podiatrist would be like a foot
kids.
Doctor. Pediatrics is kids.
You were sick a lot last year. I noticed that.
3 weeks out of the 4 weeks I was sick because you are dealing with a lot of strep throat, a lot of mononucleosis. You're dealing with like a lot of sick
probably
kids.
Have some good antibodies though. Like you.
And that's like the way to look at the beer half full is the fact that even though I was sick for 3 weeks, like I got a lot of exposure to all of these like harmful bugs. You know, these really things. It could like have killed me down the line if my immune system wasn't so strong and young. But since it is, like I'm good, I'm being exposed to it now, so I really don't have to worry about it down the line.
I think those fat balls I gave you.
Yeah, those balls really.
I think that's gonna be building
up
your immunity right there.
Yeah, those balls were excellent.
How were those balls?
I had 2 balls, and I honestly could say I didn't eat since 12 o'clock. Okay, this was my first time eating since 12 o'clock. It's about 9 o'clock. 2 balls, and I was full and so satisfied. It was the craziest thing. And I have a big appetite, so it made no sense to me.
Could you say those are the best balls you've ever had in your life?
Yeah, no, I could definitely.
And how often do you eat balls?
Not very often, but even if I did eat them often, I would say those are one of the best.
Do you eat them as a pair, or do you eat one ball at a time?
Well, this time I ate 2, but other times, it doesn't have to be 2. Doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Could be another number, I suppose.
The flavor of those things was like suckling from a young coconut's teeth.
I gave you a bite of those. Oh, so I didn't even have 2 full balls because I gave Daniel Blum here a big bite of one of my balls.
Huh. So for people who don't know what we're talking about, we're not talking about testicles. I actually make this one food product, you can call it. Very high in fat content, high in calories as well. So that's why Jeff's talking about how full he was. Each one has 120 calories in it and 14 grams of fat. So it's very, very filling. It's a lot more better fuel for your body and nourishment for your body instead of being hungry right away if you're eating something very carb heavy or carb loaded or sugar loaded. Guys, what are you doing this weekend? Chef, what are you up to?
So Friday night, we're going to a Blink-182 concert. I already bought my tickets. I have a good friend who was on the tennis team with me at Rollins College.
Seabass?
No, he went to UCF, which is right in the neighborhood.
Did he play tennis at UCF?
He played for the club team. He was only on the the real varsity, or not, wasn't called varsity. That's high school. He's only on the real team for like.
No, but he didn't college varsity. If you're on the top team, it's varsity. It's called SWAT.
Yeah, no, he was on the club team for most of the time. But anyways, it wasn't Seabass. I don't know if you guys ever met. His name's Arturo. He's from Argentina. He's staying with me this weekend.
You told me about him. You were in the Virgin Islands with him as well, right?
Yeah, he went to the Virgin Islands. We did a road trip to the Smoky Mountains. Nice. We had some good times. He's going to be here this weekend. He's actually here right now on a business trip, but he has a place to stay with the business tonight, and I'm gonna see him tomorrow night. So we're gonna go to the Blink-182 concert tomorrow night.
Blink-182 has kind of come out of the dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you a big fan, Jeff? You got a favorite song?
Adam, which was
There's a couple really great songs that I love. Like these are old songs. Okay. One of them that I really am a fan of is, I don't have a good voice or anything, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And it just is like, it would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice to have a blowjob. It would be nice.
I'd imagine it would be I want to fuck a dog in the ass. That's another one of their songs.
Yeah, no.
They really did transcend like different thoughts. It went from suicidal, the world, and in poetic nature, and then it goes from I want to do these dirty things to another human being. Like Blink-182 really hit the spectrum.
Yeah, they did.
Just so middle school.
It was like early middle school, and it's crazy that they're back, like doing their thing. I mean, I'll let you know. I would love you guys to come with me. So what are you doing on Friday night instead?
I'm still technically recovering from surgery. I don't know. My doctors still haven't returned my phone calls, so I don't know, again, what the protocol is, when I can start drinking, if I want to be hanging out in the field with a bunch of drunk assholes, and just like, okay, I don't want to be here right now. This hose in my kidney is pulling on me right now. I got to drive an hour and a half back home from Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting a hotel out there, or are you guys driving back?
No, definitely not getting a hotel. We're driving back, dude.
Driving back. Was this your favorite childhood group, middle school group, would you say?
Yeah, I'd have to actually say that.
This was your number one go-to.
Yeah, not kidding. Blink-182 was my go-to in middle school.
Middle school. Oh, I mean, you're
middle school, elementary school. It could be Backstreet Boys. Barrage
of rappers like Ja Rule or Craig David. My mom used to play every morning for 2 years before I get up and go to school, or Alanis Morissette, heavy Morissette.
I still blast the Ja Rule. I mean, living it up. Dun, 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 dun,
do you remember the show The Box? It was The Box. I mean, this was like MTV era, but maybe early MTV, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, where you could just call in and order whatever music video you wanted to for like $1.99.
Where are they airing this video?
They were just there was a whole TV channel that all day long played songs if you called in for the music video. So I would just literally sit there and call in and try to get my song playing on a consistent basis.
That just died though.
Me and my brother would just go.
VH1 and MTV, it was doing that like 1980 or
just
1979.
For 199 pennies, that's all it would cost, and you could do something.
I mean, in today's money, that's like maybe 289 pennies or something.
Since you're counting,
right.
Yes, 289 now.
Yeah. Speaking of pennies, when are we gonna get those out of our system? I feel like I'm pretty sure I read this somewhere, but the economic value of having pennies,
nickels as well. I think dimes.
It costs more to produce.
No, dimes I think are they're not like, they actually cost more. They are more than they cost to make.
Yeah.
But nickels and pennies are a different story. So it's like, how long are you gonna continue making pennies and nickels? It literally costs like 8 cents to make a nickel. 6 cents to make a penny. It's like, this makes no sense.
But then no one likes change. I will not have change in my pocket.
I go to a register and that's for you. Whatever it is, 93 cents. 93 cents.
Don't put it in your pocket. Don't put it in the register.
And no one's happy to take it. No one's happy to take it. They're like, fuck you, asshole.
They think it's demeaning. They're like, oh, he's giving me the change. Now I have to keep it. I don't want it. The store's keeping it.
I have to lug these things around to the next location.
Oh my god. If I wouldn't get fired, I would literally just take this change and throw it at your face.
The thing is, it's not even something you could use. Like, what if this is a weapon? Like, I can't use it as a weapon. I can't use this for anything positive. All right, even tolls now. If you're at tolls, you have to have a prepaid chip thing in your car. Right. Sun Pass, Easy Pass in the Northeast. If you want to do that, you can't pay by change anymore. Change is becoming
obsolete.
The only significance is, the only good thing, it's really not a good thing. He'll give you like copper and nickel poisoning. That's about it. Like, you're really not looking at anything like positive. Like, you're just getting poisoned by these like metals in your hand, in your pockets.
That's a good point too.
I just picture there's some guy in DC sitting in a giant empty gray room behind a desk, right? And he's just sitting there going like this, moving his fingers back and forth, thinking about, God, I love having people pick up pennies at every register. And that single guy will not let us change any of the politics on these.
It's just so
small
worthless,
points.
really. Like, I bet homeless people don't even pick up pennies and nickels. Like, they see them on the ground and they just keep walking.
No, I mean those 7-Eleven cups on the side of the highway, they'll take it.
Yeah, they have their cups ready.
Well, so think about it. I mean, you can go to that grocery store, they count the change for you, and you're getting dollar bills back.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, especially if they're collecting cans or bottles. I mean, those are 5 cents each. They're taking
Is
those
there
in.
anything new that we could come up with, like to replace the penny campaign? We should start the replace the penny campaign. That seems more useful.
It's already been going. I mean, I remember listening to a Freakonomics almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. That came out. It's like, why do we still have change? You know, we're on the same point we're talking about. It's been a thing, but I mean, it comes down to prerogatives of people in Congress and the Senate. Like, why are we not voting on this? This is something we're wasting that much money on every year.
Yeah.
You know, we're not having like little referendums where we can all vote and we can go in like, okay, today we want to put a vote together on change. Can we get it? Yes or no? Everybody in the country, we're going in to vote. Yes or no? Bam.
I would step out my doors for that.
I mean, what country does that? Switzerland does that. You know, they want to have a referendum and a vote. Bam, they can call it up. They can do it. Let's go to the polls. All right, we're putting this in. Let's go do it.
You got like change.org that allows you to petition whatever you want if it gets enough signatures. But
Change.org is so biased, though.
Is it?
Oh my God, it's gross.
I mean, I helped out some girl who got locked up in Kuwait.
Yeah, I signed that petition as well.
Signed that
like,
petition.
Shit. Yeah.
I think the point
Sharia
is
law, not us.
any issue that they really want to debate on or to vote on, like they can, and that's what a true democracy is voting on the issues, not voting on the people.
If you could change one thing about this democracy that we live in, this great American democracy that's changed the world for the past 300 some years, forget the British, what would you change?
Yeah, just the ability to actually vote on the issues that matter, because we don't get the opportunity to do that really. I mean, I guess in some aspects, for example, like we're trying to vote on not legalization, in Florida it's really the legalization of medical marijuana. And I don't know what the status on it is, but I think, so that's what we're doing. We're voting on that. And so, yeah, that's actually awesome. But I feel like in the federal process, like, we would never be able to, like, vote on the actual legalization of marijuana, take it off the level 1 substance, maybe put it level 2 where it has some medical value somehow, which it clearly does in a bunch of proven situations. So I think we should be able to vote on, like, the issues that matter on the federal level. The fact that we can do it sometimes on the state level is also good as well. But Switzerland is obviously killing it because I feel like they could do that.
They are.
What would I change? I mean, I think term limits. I think term limits is a good start where you're putting a strong idea and getting the money out of politics. Because now people aren't in there like, I need to constantly work on my work on getting reelected. I don't have to worry about that now. I can only stay in here for a term or 2 terms maximum. So now I'm going to leave. I got to go in doing a good job. If I don't know doing a good job, I'm not going to get hired after. It's a start, but I think still that even that is going to have a problem with money in politics because most of the people inside right now, you hear some of the bills and laws they want to pass, and they're just so out of touch with what the normal person or what people want. And you see, for example, we're going to pass a law in Washington, D.C., whether it's a left, bipartisan, or right bill that's passed, it's not what the majority of this country wants. And even it's not fair to say, okay, we're going to leave it to the states because you're going to have a state and we're going to say only it's going to be 50-50 on a vote. So if 51% say yes on something, 49% no, that's half of your population that's still pretty pissed off with some law or some bill that just got passed. And those people completely disagree. It's half. Why don't we go towards something where it's at least 60 or 70% of people that have to say yes on something or have to say no on something? Like, no, we don't want this. If it's a 2/3 or 3/4 of the population that say, we really want this, we're going to put it in, or we really don't want this, don't put it in. Now we can say, okay.
I think it starts with, like, to go along with what you're saying, it starts with kind of the education of us as a society on the system. We're using a system that got into place 300 years ago that the 99% of America isn't really exactly sure about how it works. We don't know the ins and outs of what it takes to get to a vote or what it takes. When I say a vote, I mean at the House, right? To get to exactly along the lines of what you were just talking about, getting a percent to even get into bill to Congress. How many people know what that process is like? How many people understand what the different when Congress splits up into different groups, like the environmental protection, or who knows? We don't know as the regular people what that is. There's no education about that in school.
There's just no awareness of it.
There's no awareness, yeah. And there's
That's
no
how we
education,
become
yeah.
an oligarchy. Where people and politicians, we've gone in and said, okay, we're going to trust you politicians. Because normal democracy, if you go back to the roots, back in ancient Greece, everybody had to go in. We had to go in and serve our part in Congress or our local governance or in the national governance, serve in the military. We had to do something in order to pay our homage to our country and our duty in our democracy so we can figure out and understand what it is we wanted to do, what about this democracy, this is what happens, this is how everything is running. But instead, we've trusted politicians, there's no term limits. Okay, you guys want to do this for a career? Okay, you can stay there, you can do your stuff. But naturally, as a course of human beings, they've taken advantage of this and they've gone a little overboard. They're taking money from people, from different corporations and private donors. And then again, who's getting the bills and laws passed? These big corporations or private donors is getting a bill passed that's in order to help their corporation. That's going to make sure they're not paying taxes, or that they're going to get the rights to drill on this piece of land. How's that going to help the whole governance of that politician that he's covering? Doesn't.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's in agreement that the political system is, I don't know, to say the least, like, it's just pretty fucked. And you have the influence of the big money, kind of controlling a lot, and I don't think anyone can even deny that fact, so it's almost just like a disadvantage. There's so much power and money that goes into, like, politics, and politicians are people too, and so if you come to them saying, like, here's like $1 million for your family for whatever, they're gonna support you, and they're gonna vote and do whatever it is to pretty much benefit their pockets, because they're people too, and I was an economics major in high school, in college, even though I went kind of the medical track, and we call it the Homo economicus, which is the human that is so only self-serving. He doesn't care about anyone else. And that's literally the person that economics thinks that everybody is the Homo economicus, who just only cares about individual things, that serves himself. And by serving himself, he serves everyone else in the population. Like, okay, I'm going to build a business for myself. And in that regard, he's helping others. But it's really not like that. People are actually altruistic people. They don't care just only about themselves. But a lot of people, maybe that is the case. I don't know, but we really need to get, like, the big business, the big money out of politics, because it's just getting overrun, and it's really it's really unfair a lot of times. Like, there's no way to
the people who would be making the policy for the policymakers to have more restriction, more oversight. The people who would be making that policy are the ones that are gaining from the policy not existing. So why would that policy be made? That's just some food for thought, right?
I hear you.
Yeah, and I am hungry for thought, not food, thought. Not after those keto balls.
After those balls, I'm only hungry for thought right now.
Dude, you couldn't even put down 2 balls at once.
Yeah, I did. That means you can't get any thought down, that's for sure.
If those balls were so good, I would go for a third. And I know we have. I think we have a couple more balls.
Hey, go bananas, dude. You're not pushed down to that chair.
We didn't. I don't know if we talked about his nickname. Dr. Money P is short for Dr. Money Penis.
I didn't even think the doctor was in there before. It was just Money Penis, but now you're Dr. Money.
Now you're Dr. Money Penis.
Yeah, it just keeps getting better and better. The nickname started with Money P, and it was short for Money Penis, just so you know, but won't go into any more detail about that. And I've had that nickname for about a couple years.
You get gloss over the most important part of the story.
The most important part.
Whatever.
Get your beak in there.
It's simple. My penis is made of money.
You guys can fill in the gaps. It doesn't need words. You guys just use your imaginations. But I was saying that.
You asked me to use my imagination. It's gonna run wild.
This is talking coming from a married man.
I mean, we were already talking about money, and now we're talking about penises. So just put them together, and that's basically what we have.
Guess what we're talking about before that.
Subtract vaginas, then
vaginas before.
You add vaginas, you subtract the money. I think that's how it goes.
I don't know. I think you get nothing actually.
Just get
crosses each other out.
Just get the money. Just get the money out of here. And now we're just talking about penises and vaginas, and we can just put the money back and then finish the rest of the story.
All right.
Because we're getting a little off topic.
Jeff, I don't know if I told you this. I'm going to Israel in a few weeks.
Oh hell no! You didn't tell me that.
I'm doing that birthright thing. They called me up and were like, "Hey, you still haven't been to Israel?" I was like, "Oh, I have." Like, you guys, the government even paid for my flight already.
So that's funny. So Mary's thinking about converting just so she can go on the birthright. She's really going to do it. Like, I don't know what that entails. Like, how do you just convert? Like, who do you talk to? What do you got to get in touch with?
She's not a guy. She has to go with the circumcision. That's big for her.
Right? Yeah. All she has to do is, like, I really don't know, but she's trying to figure it out because she really wants to go. That'd be cool if you guys can go together. When are you planning on going?
I'm going like next month because I'm 26. It's my last year.
Oh.
Can I unconvert and then reconvert? I missed it when I was, I'm 28. I didn't get to go before I was 26.
It's interesting because there's a story about some guy who wants to go play in Israel, and they said, if you're Jewish, you can go over there, or have any Jewish background, you can go over there, become a citizen, and then be a player. And you get now, as you're a player of that country or a resident of that country, there's more roster spots for you instead of just international spots. On international spots, some countries only have one spot. Some of them have up to 4 or 5. Usually depends on money. Then they want to bring in a more top-line player, guy 6'8", 6'9", because there's not that many 6'8", 6'9" Israeli guys who are just flying through the sky, dunking the basketball. So those are the athletes they want to bring in. Now, this guy, he just got himself circumcised. He's 31 years old. He's trying to convert to Judaism. He's still a decent player, apparently.
Did he cut it himself, or did he go somewhere
you
serious?
got to moil that dude.
Who do you call? I need a 31-year-old circumcision.
But here's the crazy thing. Apparently, moils, some very religious ones, use their mouths to claw out the blood after they cut a baby's penis. So I don't know if this guy had
God, that's
I've heard Rogan talk about this a lot. He thinks that this is the most outlandish thing that you could do. This baby has no say, and and not only are you gonna cut it, but then some people are gonna suck the blood off.
It's a whole libertarian thing.
Holy Mother Mary of God!
You know what happened, Money Pete? There was a bunch of moils in
You're having a child
in New York City, and they were doing that. They were putting the mouth on these penises, and they gave all these babies herpes.
Oh my God, no,
they spread herpes like that.
So these poor baby penises.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're getting born with the herp, dude.
How many moils are? Because this is crazy. Like, hopefully there's not that many moils in the world because it's sickening.
And they're Jews. It's big business, dude. They're milking, literally milking.
Now I know where you got the name, Dr. Money Penis. He's a moil.
I'm not. This is the first time I'm hearing about these moils.
Sure you are.
And honestly, I'd rather have not heard about it. I mean, that's really sickening. Like it's happening like around us. Like this is like not like some.
I think it's more of a very Hasidic religious type. This is all allegedly, folks. All allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And we're allowed to say it. I guess we're Jewish.
We're some pretty dumb folk here, so don't really take anything keen on what we're saying. We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah. These Hasidic Jews are crazy. I have to tell you because...
Tell me some Israel tips. I've been before, but it's been a while. And I've been coming from the Middle East, the Arab side of the Middle East. So.
Israel was great. It was just so different. I mean, I'm not a world traveler, so I haven't been to so many places. I know Israel was one of the most just new, exciting experiences. You had a lot to do. I mean... The thing about the birthright is I would recommend if you have time, which I didn't, to extend your trip because you can do whatever you want to do. If there's a certain thing that you like the most, just stay there, do that. The birthright is a schedule and you're doing what they want you to do. The fact that, it's a free trip and you get to experience a lot of what Israel has to offer is kind of just insane. Like, it's unheard of in the rest of, like, the world, like a free trip to anywhere. But they really just want Jews from all over the world to see their homeland, and it's very educational. It's very emotional. We had a lot of people actually break down in tears, guys included, and it was very good.
See, I still have a problem with that. I see that it's like such a form of nationalism. Like, granted, it is impressive what the country of Israel has done and been able to do.
Definitely.
But at the same time, I mean, they're spending their money in order. It's a whole political move. Like, okay, let's bring in other people with the same religion to our country.
It's a Jewish state. It's a religious state.
It's a religious state, but I mean, you're
sounds
a guy
like
who's
good marketing, if you ask me.
Well, yeah. Now they have they have the strongest lobby in the U.S. I mean, the U.S. just gave them even more money.
We're over here trying to kick Americans out.
They give them, instead of $3 billion a year, we're giving them like I don't know what they upped it up to, but Obama's giving just signed something to give the country of Israel even more money in defense.
And aid. They're literally the size of New Jersey. They're so small. They don't have that many people. They really want to become bigger, and they really think that every single Jew in the world should leave to Israel to make Aliyah, as they call it, and it's going to strengthen their army and their economy.
That's my problem right there.
I mean, it's a big army country, but they have to be.
They have a strong military.
They're surrounded on by people who want to kill them every day.
Especially the Mediterranean Sea. They're definitely out to get them.
Dude, they're coming from all angles, dude. Submarines coming up from that sea.
But, I mean, I think it's a bigger mess than to be expected.
I think...
I just have that big of a problem with nationalism. Especially when you're mixing religion in the mix. Like, okay, these kids coming over breaking down and crying.
Well, most of the people that actually fight in the army are secular. The religious Jews don't go in the army because they give it.
They opt out,
yeah, they opt out, and they just say, I'm religious. I can't have a gun and kill and potentially kill people. All of the really religious Jews, which are a big chunk of Israel, they don't go to the army. It's all the secular ones, and it's not about religion. It's about nationalism. And it's about fighting for your country.
But those Jews, those very religious ones, are the ones that are like impeding over into Palestinian territory.
Yeah,
and are building more houses and homes, and they're just doing it like, we just don't care.
Yeah, and I read this book before I went to Israel called My Promised Land by Every Shavad or something like that. I might be pronouncing his name wrong.
I've heard of it.
It told like a very good historical account of Israel. Like, you're not going to be reading a book like, Israel's the best, like, and the Arabs are mean people, like terrible people. No, it's very non-biased. It told about, the atrocities, committed by the Jews on the Arabs, which you really don't hear about. And he's a journalist, just giving a non-biased tale of the history of Israel. Is very interesting. If you need thick skin to read it if you're a Jew, because it'll almost make you sick to your stomach. Because when the Jews got there, it was Arab territory, and the fact that it's Jewish territory now, things had to happen. He was just like
it was called Palestine up until 1948,
right?
47. That's when a lot of the big crazy Zionist movements started bombing the Palestinians, and this was a grassroots movement to take over. But they did have funding from the Britain and the U.S.
Yeah,
in order to get that going.
Yeah, they had a lot of support, and it's important. But
excuse me, guys, I'm gonna go take a leak.
Well, it looks like we've got a runner. Got ourselves a runner. So
our first runner.
I'm going to spin this back around for a second, but I am curious the finishing of that money penis story.
Wait, where were we when we left off?
Well, you wouldn't tell us why you called yourself money penis.
I didn't call myself that. I don't know. It just happened. We were at like a festival, and it wasn't like a big festival. It was one of those one-dayers, and so I was just...
Good tunes, good friends.
Just, in Miami, that's where we're from. Like, we didn't have to travel very far, and that was the first... So, that was the first time someone called me money penis. I was just being really money at that festival. Like, I think I was wearing tight pants, so you can almost see my penis. So when
you're being money and you can see your penis.
Yeah, when you're being money, someone just says it. I don't even remember who said it. It wasn't me. Definitely not me who said it. It was someone else. I don't even know who, and I don't even know the person who said it knows he said it. But it was said.
School, I'm not sure if you had that name, but I remember.
No, definitely not. It was J-Mo in high school.
When I was messing around with that chick Ron, and she had first met you, I'm like, yeah, his name's Money P, and she was like, Money. What's the P stand for? I'm like, Money Penis, and she's like, what the fuck? What do you? Just tell me his name. I'm like, listen. This guy's clutch, all right? He's going to be
That's all you got to know.
He's going to take something home. Just watch. This guy just works. You don't even see it happening. And she took it home. He's like, all right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. And you did. And I was like, this guy's got my back. Money P's always got your back.
Sadly, well, it's true.
So Jeff, you were in your 3rd year of med school. How many more years do you have left?
Well, including this one too. It's a 4-year program.
Yeah, how much is a year?
Residency is after, and you're officially a doctor because you have that degree at the end of your name and you see patients. But as a resident, you have to have like a preceptor, in the game for many, many years, and he kind of like you see the patients, but then you present to him. So you don't make the big dollars, and you're still kind of learning a lot, but you are still a doctor. It's like a long haul thing, and that thing is 3 to 4 years. It depends on what you do, but 3 to 4 years. So there's like 5 years before you like start making good money, because as a resident you're like still $40,000 a year, and you're working like long hours. Yeah, because
you're making a good something.
Yeah, no, they're not
that
complaining.
That starts next year, or when does that start?
That starts in after these 2 years. Then there's actually, I forgot to tell you that there is an intern year, and you're not making any money during the intern year, and then you do residency.
What are you doing your intern year in Argentina?
No. Argentina is my 4th year rotations. For 3rd year, you have to do all of the general rotations. So I told you peds and family medicine is peds is what I did last month. I'm in family medicine now. You're doing internal medicine, surgery. You're doing a lot of vaginas there. And then there's a couple more, and you just do this for a year. All the general things that you don't want to do if your name is Money P, because I want to do dermatology. So then your 4th year is actually when you can apply to different elective roads you're interested in, and you can apply anywhere in America, but there's a few international things, and so I'm also going to be applying to one in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I think that'd be like an excellent experience. I'm really brushing up on my Spanish. Like
I remember when you were Pokemon going in the park. It's great Spanish to that woman. I was like,
I just knew her English wasn't perfect. You were like, hey, do you play Pokemon? She's like, what? And like when someone is not feeling like the English language, and so I just started talking to her like Spanish. Like they appreciate when you try. Like but it doesn't really. You don't need to be the best. Yeah, you don't need to be the best. You just need to be flowing and like, having a good time.
So as a med student, you're still a med student right now. What do you do for income? I mean, is it?
Well, most med students do not have an income. Probably 95% of them do not have an income.
How do they expect you to make any money when I'm sure the amount per year is a ridiculous sum?
I've been watching The Walking Dead lately, and his position is going to be during the apocalypse. We're gonna need a lot of Dr. Money P's.
Well, when's the apocalypse happening?
When it comes. I mean, Trump's going for president. We were just over here talking about the odds of nuke explosion if Trump is president, what we think the odds were. I mean, the odds are probably greatest with him than they've ever been. So it could be this way soon. We're going to need a lot of doctors.
No, I think he's just a really great troll. I'm not worried about him.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the apocalypse either. I mean, there's always like those Mayans that say crazy shit. And you just gotta brush them off. It's like there's no way you know what you're talking about. Like, how do you know? And if it was, I don't think I'd know what to do. I mean, just because I have like a medical school education, like there's no way that I would know what to do in the case of an apocalypse.
Save some people. Like the apocalypse comes, you're one of 20,000 people left in Florida and has a baby, and you're the only gynecologist left on the earth. Tell me you're not sucking in all the info that you've passed on through the past years and years of schooling, and you're pulling that baby out, and in fact you might nurse first,
Yeah, what if that woman dies, dude? I mean,
what if that woman dies?
In the apocalypse, then at least you're not getting sued.
There's going to be like one person from each profession left on the planet, right? You'll need a dermatologist. Well, you will need a gynecologist, and you'll definitely need a podcaster, and potentially, just to get info out there to all the other people who are surviving.
No, you need a lot.
Now here's a serious issue, though. Is there more sex in the zombie apocalypse, or is there less sex?
I'm thinking more.
Like, are you trying to reproduce more, or do you want less people?
I'm saying rape goes up.
Okay. Yeah, rape goes way up. I think sensual sex goes way up. When people think that they're on the verge of dying, all they think about is sex.
Have you been? I'm not sure if that's factual. Have you experienced such an event, or
have you been on an airplane that's about to crash?
Yeah.
People are going down at an incredible rate. Are they still?
We're gonna have to save that one for a friend of ours, Jamie Bolano, for who survived a plane crash when he was a kid.
Did he?
Yeah, he survived a plane crash when he was, I'm gonna guess, a year old, and he was in the front of the plane crash, and everyone died in the front. And so when he comes on, he can tell us his story and tell us. I mean, I guess in a child that young, you weren't thinking about sex, but maybe he can give his mom.
Think about it. If you were, what's the one thing you're gonna be thinking about?
Things I didn't do in this life.
One of them. No. I think I'd definitely be going over all those good times and smiling. I mean, either I'm a really, 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 really optimistic person because like I just treat it as such a competitive issue. Like, no, these bad times aren't gonna get me. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna smile through this one. I'm gonna think about all those good things, those good times. I can't wait for the good times to happen again. And plus, I think I'm invincible going down, but I'm not gonna die.
I'm not dying.
Everybody else here is
the same thought I have every time. Well, I can't die. I literally feel like I'm going to live forever, right?
Well, that's just what we think about our role in the universe. It's just so insignificant, obsolete. Ourselves internally, we're the center of the universe.
Well, this is we are the universe.
And this is it. I mean, but that's a great thing.
Wow, we're the most selfish beings in the entire universe, potentially.
No, I think deep down everybody has that issue. And that was at the same time we could be the center of the universe. There could be nothing else out there. The universe could have expanded from this point right here, right now. And the fact that we still haven't found other life, other things that happened, maybe the universe did expand from this point, from this center.
That's just the deepest trenches of my own psyche, and trying to wade my way through like the puddles of neurons that are connecting to different locations, and as I come through the fall, I notice that. I ask myself, what is the point of life? A question that we've all asked ourselves, potentially, at least you'd hope that we reflect back on it. But, whether we know the answer or not, I asked myself that question, and I just came up with the answer that I don't gonna know. And if you're in the ever-searching purposes of knowing, you're almost not living in the moment so that great answer of you don't know led me to the realization that, oh shit, live to know.
It's not for you to know.
No, it's not. It's not us.
It's not us. No, I mean, I definitely get caught in a hole sometimes if I even just like looking around, just like, I'm not a very, not your normal type. Normal society, having a job, a house, or dreams about getting a job or house. Maybe I'm so in the moment of what it is and goal driven and what my next perspectives are that I look at some of this stuff and I'm just like, this is it for something. Like they're gonna talk about like a 10-year plan. They're gonna have a few more babies, and then they're gonna be doing this and that. Like it's like, it sounds like that's the end.
It's something we don't understand though, but I bet for them it makes them 100% happy. They might not. The perspective that we.
Wouldn't even say it's a higher dream. Maybe that's what there is. That's what they found. That's what they want to do. Or maybe they're just like us, so ingrained and driven on what they want to do, and what they want to do right now is have a baby and a house. And again, it's not for us to know or figure out. We shouldn't be deciphering it.
Yeah. Until they come out with VR headsets where I can plug my chip into your chip and find out what it's lived like, in your chip, and you're living in my chip.
Be exciting times.
And then I'm Dr. P chip for a few days, and then.
You need another drink, brew. So you want some of this tea over here?
Yeah, let me get a sip of tea.
Hashtag. I don't know if we can use Dr. P. Right. It might be a little short for Dr. Pepper or the DJ Dr. P. No.
I think you have to just say the full name, like Dr. Penis.
Are you sure we can do that right now?
Now, do you have a PhD in penis?
I have my MD in penis.
Oh, man.
He feels like an Austin Powers. It's like we have an Austin Powers movie to our left.
George Zimmerman in the news again. Guy got punched, and the guy who's punched him in the face said he was bragging about shooting Trayvon Martin. Guy's out of control. He's still always in the news. He's always in the news, whether he's speeding, beating his wife up, getting caught with guns. I mean, he's a concealed carrier. So I mean,
a lot of these cases that were protruding the media, that a lot of people got riled up over. I'd say a lot of them are justified, and a lot of them turn out in the favor of the cop or in something else. What we've got is an actual case where the person that got let go was a horrible human being and has completely shown his colors over and over and over again.
I mean, that's another problem with the judicial system. I mean, who is the guy? Freddie Gray in Baltimore. You know, the prosecutor was really upset that they did not have enough evidence, that they didn't even want to take it to trial. And, I mean, the George Zimmerman one's a little sketchy. This guy actually isn't, and they couldn't indict him. Now, I just think that's just Florida. That's just the amount of jurors, the people we have in Florida. We're the wild, wild west of today's USA. You know, 3 million people can carry guns around here. And my dad, he's just carrying guns all the time. He's got a machine, a full arsenal. If the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm pretty safe in my dad's house. We got a pretty good fortress.
Yeah.
We got a good crow's nest up there to pick people off.
Yeah, and my neighbors too. One of them is a cop, and like they have like tons and tons of guns. I mean, I'm good friends with them, so I'd be pretty safe with them also in the case of like one of these apocalypses. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's even worse in Texas. Like I just get like the vibe in Texas is like everyone's got at least 5 to 20, like.
Yeah, in Florida all the time. I mean,
somewhat.
I mean,
a little. Yeah, I'm up to date with. I mean, if you check your Facebook, like you hear all the news.
Well, there's another one. This guy was being chased by the cops, and he had his 5-year-old son with him, and he ditched him.
It's
I need to get away from the cops.
It's like
right
those
now.
mama kangaroos. If they're being chased by like a jackal, they'll dump their baby out of their pouch as like a distraction, and then they eat the baby, and the mom just goes run away.
Right?
The dingo.
I don't know. I think kangaroo's gonna hold its own against the dingo, dude.
The kangaroo.
He's boxing.
He thinks about himself. He's like, I can just make another baby.
A
I'm just gonna
kangaroo
feed
will
my
beat
baby.
the shit out of us in a fight.
Oh, granted, that's the same thing. Like where even bears, like the mama bear, even after her, what is it?
Cubs die.
The male ate her cubs are dead babies. It's like, wow, this is food. I do not know when I'm gonna get
hungry,
food again, or I'm gonna eat it. I need to get
eats
as
the
much
baby.
shade
Wow.
around
It
babies.
cries eating its own children.
Wow.
That's living in the moment.
How do you do
It is
that?
actually. Is it that we're so? But granted, our genes and our cells do drive us. You know, we're always constantly thinking reproduction. Okay, attractive woman over there. Okay, I'm attracted to her features. You know, good size hips, good birthing. I want to go after that. Looks how I want to mate with right there.
One of the problems I have with like with like some of the movements that are out there of the anti men on the side of woman is I feel like those are my natural instincts to look, right? It's part of me to do that naturally that we've done for thousands of society.
Oh my god, it's so tough,
history.
especially as a doctor when you're in the room with like a big.
Especially when their vagina's just flapping open there.
Even when you're in the room with a big breasted like woman, you can't look. Because it's not professional.
It's like a test of your faith almost, right?
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like you see in the movies, like when they were talking about gynecologists, they're like always cracking jokes who the gynos are. Oh look, 6 more weeks. Oh, do you want the
those are
pepper? Do you want the peppermint or do you want the Christmas tree?
2 jobs that can't
new
go
car,
together.
do you want
Comedian and gynecologist.
new car smell? Okay, we'll put a new car smell in there.
one of the ones that are shaped like a Christmas tree.
Hey, can you hang air fresheners in there?
There's enough room. You can do whatever you want.
You don't want to know the backstory on that.
It's like the penthouse, please.
It's so funny. Well, you know, like one of our best friends, Dad's a gynecologist. He has a shot glass that says "I love vaginas," and you know he really does. But
you gotta commit. I think that you really gotta be in it for the long haul.
Right? Like as a dermatologist, you gotta be like, "I love skin, skin."
What do you think? Like, when I say names, do you think the wife later on, she's like, "So, was there any better looking than mine?" Woman tendency, just to ask right there.
Well, she doesn't have your personality. Because like, you
maybe
see,
that's
like,
just something I would ask.
If you see 15 to 20 vaginas a day, like odds are 19 are going to be probably as good as your wife or better. So
Self-conscious about their vaginas as men are about their dicks.
They have vaginal hubris. They definitely are.
Well, that's
Definitely.
the confidence.
I've never heard a
going
woman
on.
talk about, oh, my vagina lips are not doing too well this week. I had to go get them sucked up over at the doctor.
No, women definitely have vaginal hubris.
It must be
They're very confident.
It's a confident.
Oh, talking about their grip, their lips, good-looking pussy. They share all that.
Yeah.
They talk about that.
Interesting. We're gonna need to bring a few guests on for that.
We'll tackle that one.
Yeah. Then that'll be the next time you join us on the show. We'll bring on a gynecologist with a hubris. Can you define that word for me, by the way? So it would be a word that I'm not quite familiar with. Hubris.
Excessive pride, self-confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
we need vagina hubris on this show for sure with the money.
I'll have to talk to some HDC members. A handsome dick club.
Yeah.
Strong hubris right there.
A lot of it.
In front of hubris, or hubris is enough?
Because that's like...
It's really exemplifying.
It's too
hubris,
much.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
less.
too much. Yeah,
Less.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pop down.
Well, now you're just not doing anything.
Yeah. Sometimes you become stagnant.
Jeff, who are you voting for? You seem like you were on the Bernie train. Are you Bernie or bust right now, or are you're not going to vote at all?
Yeah, not going to vote at all. And I haven't voted yet at an actual presidential election. And voting for Bernie was the first time I voted. I'm not one of the ones where, dude, you got to vote. You got to vote for the lesser of the two evils. That's why everyone's voting. No one likes either of the candidates. They're just voting for the person they like. Who's
gonna do less harm.
Who's gonna, who's gonna do less harm.
More beneficial, but at the same time, Neil deGrasse Tyson has a great quote. He talks about politicians tell us what we want to hear, and they're going after. I'm gonna butcher it. Let me see.
It's true so far. I mean, that you want to hear. Great example is that Democratic, the big Democratic thing that was just on. Everyone, it's just like they're just building everyone's confidence, like we're the best. And it's just like a big, almost just,
propaganda. They were talking more, very, very, very more military based, like very gun-toting, like we're gonna find ISIS and we're gonna kill them and we're gonna bring death to them.
Wait, the Indian guy, like the
no, not the father of
not the father. He also was. I mean, I don't know. It was just all very, like, has it ever been like that? Like, I don't remember watching one of those things. Very, a lot of Prop G everywhere. And then they just finished with those balloons. And it's like, oh, it's a party.
Bill was really kicking through those things. Really
yeah.
strutting his stuff in the balloon game.
Yeah, he is alive. He does a lot of drugs. He thinks it'd be really nice to have a blowjob.
You think Bill has done a lot of drugs post office? Like, yeah, man, did my time as the king, as the ruler of the free world until this point.
I mean, that family, that relationship, they do enough like illegal things. Like drugs would be probably in the middle of that list. Like as far as illegal things that they've done and gotten caught for, they might have done drugs and just got away with it. Probably Bill smoked in his day. Like I'd be shocked if he hasn't done like shrooms and just psychedelics. Like he looked
psilocybin and LSD.
He just looked so ridiculous on that stage. Like balloons coming down, kicking. Like balloons all come from.
Here's the quote right here, and it's definitely more of a physics or a scientific like ideology coming.
Well, it's
from
Neil deGrasse, so yeah.
Politicians lie not because they're evil, but because they say what voters want to hear. So it's we who are the problem.
Any more than any of her.
Yeah, but then like Dan Carlin, Hardcore History, came back. So he's like, so if we wanted to hear, I will fix the country's problems and make your lives better. That would take care of things. So he came out with a more literal sense.
Well, the 99% thinks that the 1% has too much power, and the 1% thinks the 99% doesn't know what's going on, and
they don't trust it.
The 1% doesn't trust the 99% because they think they don't have maybe the mental capabilities, or I mean, there's see both sides of the argument, and I do lean one way, which I won't talk about, but I see both sides of the argument, and I think that maybe there's some kind of healthy medium that we need to approach.
Let the people know. We're here to hear about you.
I lean towards the 1% having a good amount of power. I think I've
a good amount,
something I've
a healthy amount, but what in today's society is not a healthy amount of power. It's like an absurdly inflated amount of power, getting more and more and more and more. That's the only direction it's ever gone. The 1% is like.
But I think the system we have is self-adjusting. So I think that naturally it'll evolve, and we're at a period where, and it'll do that. And the way that happens is by talking about it, is by reasoning things out, is by completing democracy, is by reinventing the system and innovation, and basically like putting ideas together and talking about it, realizing that there's an issue, social system, and the way to fix it is realize that you talk about it and find solutions, and notice it and become aware, and then you keep going.
But that's not how the 1% operates at all. Like 1% wants the 99% to just really distract them with like bullshit, and they don't really talk about the real
that's
issues
the problem, because
of...
the media is owned by all these major corporations who are also major supporters of all these different politicians. So you just story out about Hillary Clinton, but that also comes down to, you know, our accessibility to technology and information. There's just so much information. You know, I got my Twitter feed up here, and I follow 560 people, but this thing is constantly churning out, and I'm just overstimulated still at the same time. There's so much information, so much stuff for me to consume, and how long do I want to stay on one topic, one issue, one point, before I jump to somewhere else? So, I mean, people have their lives. They want to live it. They want to do this, they want to do that. I don't want just spreading good vibes and having a great time, going on adventures every day, making the most of my life every day when I can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why do I want to go and worry about and work inside politics? So I want to go work in my Congress or my local governance. I don't want to do that. This oligarchy has given me that it's not a problem for me. I don't have to go back from traveling, say, it's got to work inside government for 2 more years.
Well, let me tell you about a little bit of how I look at it. I look at it as society as an anthill, right? We typically, the way that it did for survival as a colony, where it has like ruling members. I guess it could be a queen who has all the children. You've got worker ants who go out and pick up the leaves and bring them back. You've got tunnel ants who build tunnels. The colony, and the ants evolved this way. Look at Darwin's selective pressure. This is what helps them survive. So when you look at the human society or the American society, I think that this is a much bigger scale of an ant colony. Evolve different jobs and roles in society, the way that their neurons function in their brain, the way that they've been raised is specifically to fit different roles to make the society actually function. So you've got people who were born in, and I'm not trying to make it run as is any in an ant society. If you don't have any worker ants, you've got the politician ants and the fighter ants, then all of a sudden you've got no food for anybody in the colony and no tunnels, and then they have no colony and they all die. So what I'm saying is, like people who need to work at 7-Eleven, or your person who is an entrepreneur, or the guy who works an office job and on computer equipment and does IT. All those people have a different part of this large scale, and some people in the ant colony are, we'll say people like you and I. These are creative free thinkers who
stop giving me all this credit.
And money P over here, people who view the society from like a different perspective. They're able to say, okay, here's our anthill. How can we expand our anthill, right? Okay, here's the problem with our foundation of our anthill. How can we break this down, rearrange things, and try to make it improve? So I think that you've got that, and then you've got the politicians. They've been bred for this role some way or one another, and they, of course, want to do things a specific way and rule, and they probably have some incredible skills for actually doing such things that you and I wouldn't do that, as you just talked about. We're not driven to look at society and say this needs to be improved, or I don't want to be a part of this, or I want to enjoy the expanding role of the society.
Not infinite, but there's a million ways to go about it. There's always a different option that you could choose or want to do. You know, I could literally go to law school now. I have a bachelor's degree in history. I can go apply for law school, take the test, and I can try to become a lawyer. Tomorrow I can do that. You know, my possibilities, potential, are limitless and endless in the United States in this today and age.
But now, you're driven towards something, driven towards many different things. Like myself, I have so many different desires and likes about. I can't pick one. That's my
overstimulation.
But I think that's just how I am as a person. Whereas some people, most people, I would say, they, whether it's being a doctor for vaginas, or whether it's being an engineer on medical equipment, or whether it's being an artist and creating art that helps, people elude emotion. Those types of things, the tool that you're drawn to, and that tool benefits
I wouldn't say born with. Your environment definitely plays a really important issue.
Yeah.
On how you are and who you become.
I'd say the most successful people in the world are people that are driven to one specific thing, because they have to put their heart in one point. You're gonna just do better at that than someone who has different interests. Even though I'm not saying that's the way to a happier life. Like, you want to be well versed. You want to have different interests. You want to be involved in this, involved in that, and be an artist and be, a mathematician. So there's a lot of different ways to go about life, but success is a lot easier when you're 100% focused on one particular thing, whether that's vaginas or all the other things that you were talking about earlier.
Agreed. I mean, but at the same time, back to two solid parents. I know Blums has had two solid parents. even step parents, that've been there to support us, that've been there along the way, whether it was financially, whether it was to help us go here, give us a break, or give us the availability to look and trust. We're lucky, blessed, fortunate, whatever you want to call it. We had that ability. A lot of people don't get those abilities. There's people at 7-Eleven. They don't get to see, what the rest of this world's like. They don't gain that awareness. And especially, they have this tool they want to know, that we know, and they don't even know they can use it for those tools and tips. And it comes, and not even, they don't have the education, the knowledge about it. They're just not aware that I could go and do this.
Well, that's the current state. I think that's the current state of society where we're at, is up until this point where, like, okay, people are fit for specific roles, but I also think that we're at a crossroads where it's time to show everyone that there's much more that they can get out of their life, that they could be. They don't have access to all the information. If we can let them make more free choices, more free thoughts growing up, then they will be able to therefore expand and evolve our colony and
evolve. I love using that word.
It's the best word.
I think those people that we're talking about, like, they're born, they're just disfortunate. They don't have the parents.
Some could even say disenfranchised. I mean, they just don't have the same opportunities.
And it's a shame, and it's really a shame, because it's like a huge.
We waste and get rid of so much food in our country. We have the ability to feed the entire world, but we can't even feed all the people in this country. And we have enough food for everybody in the world, but we're throwing it out. We're wasting it. We don't want people digging through the trash or taking out the food.
All these species that we're talking about, the ants, the monkeys, the zebras, it really doesn't matter. If they're together, they're packs, and they are doing what they're doing for, like, the common good. And that's what I love about societies, human societies, like, for example, the Indians, or, I mean, any kind of native population. Like, they are doing it for the good of the tribe. And unfortunately, this is this society that we live in, this Western society, that is important too, but doesn't care about that guy on the street. It doesn't care about a lot of other people.
It gets away from the individual.
Yeah.
And focusing on the person. Instead, like Blum said, like, it's an anthill. It's a colony. It's a huge. We're just going like, okay, we're gonna have someone go do this. We're basically just playing pretend every day. Like, okay, this guy is gonna grow up and do this job in this profession. You're gonna be doing this. You're gonna be passing out this imaginary, but green paper that we say has value, and you're gonna just decide green paper. Maybe they might not have enough for the job, and you're gonna be in charge. We're called welfare. It's just stuff we're making up.
They made it up, and I don't think anyone had this plan in mind. It was just like the progression of it, not the natural progression that happened, because it goes back to Adam Smith. He was the first one who kind of had the idea of, like, these property rights and kind of like this economic idea that we are kind of living in now. So slowly get to where we are today, and I don't think he would never have predicted, this, and, everyone, like, all of these, like, particular jobs and the particular way that we kind of handle all these transactions monetarily in society. I think there could be, like, a lot of improving. I think there's, like, a lot of improving that needs to be done, but you guys tell me what you think. I mean, I think we're not at the most optimal level of human interaction society that we can be in at this moment.
We've all made it farther than every other human being's made it.
Well, Randall Carlson has some things to say about that, but
I believe in Randall and Graham.
I do.
I want to get the new one, Magicians of the Gods, because I have Fingerprints. You got to read that one.
Got to read that.
I want to read Magicians because these two tag. Let's say.
I mean, he's a fantastic speaker, and just historian, the way he can enunciate is already good enough.
A journalist writer, but then he decided to go on the road and do all these older archaeological sites. With what are those huge pillars 2,000 years ago, for 2,500 years ago, whether it was ancient Greeks or Romans and Egyptians, like, they really didn't have the proper tools to be doing all this. And they're saying slaves cut these impeccable dimensions of stones and pillars that way they possibly used to carry this stuff. They couldn't use that many animals, they couldn't use that much livestock. So what could it have done? Maybe these things are older. Maybe they're not just between 2,500 to 5,000 years old. Maybe they date back even longer. So he's gone all Great Flood, and he's matched those up with these stories of a Great Flood all over the world coming from the same time period. And even the story of Atlantis that Plato talks about, the story that was passed on from the elders down to him as Plato, and he was like, this happened 1,600 years ago. And now, since he wrote that book, he's matched up with this guy, Randall Carlson, who is what would you call him, a geologist? Geologist, but he also studies asteroidal impacts. And
Okay.
he meteor impacts.
You think that would be a meteorologist, not just like the weatherman, but like someone who studies meteors, but that's like an aside.
Good point there. So yeah, he's found all these impacts. Even like the way that water in Groove Point had watermarks on it. It wasn't sand erosion, but water erosion. And there hasn't been water in that region of North Africa since either 9,000 or 11,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're thinking whether that was that giant flood, the Noah's Ark story of it, have something in common. They all playing together. And
God bless you.
He's on cast.
so since he's teamed up with this guy, he's been able to find these pinpoints on Earth, like, oh, this happened, and this rock hit this, and this rock hit at this speed, at this wipe out the human population.
I mean, if that happened now, then I'm talking millions. I mean, I don't think. When was the last time a meteor significant enough to kill like a large percentage of the population has ever happened?
Well, I mean,
It
they
doesn't
said
really
that one
happen
in
that
Russia.
often. Like, that's why
that
you don't
hit,
really.
And I mean, it flattened like 100 miles of forest. But that's
Really?
one that like exploded before it hit the surface.
Thank God it hit Russia and not like. Because there's nothing in Russia, dude. You have Moscow and you have like a bunch of trees and a bunch of snow. Like, I'm not worried if it hits Russia.
It would come up and it would change our atmosphere would add in like more hydrogen or carbon or different elements. Who
But
knows?
I mean, that could even happen with a mega volcano erupting.
Yeah,
like
or
Yellowstone.
a nuclear weapon.
It's just there's so many possibilities of things with anything you think about is not actually going to happen because there's so many other possibilities that you're not even thinking about, and most likely like nothing is gonna.
Well, technically, unless what is it? Human rocks hitting the Earth, our best chances are still 4 billion years. Sun turns into a red giant and just envelops the planet and just takes it in.
I mean, if we make it that far, I definitely think we'll find a way to get to another
I don't think we
solar
will. I
system.
don't think we're gonna have enough resources. Just like
Dude, I feel like we just make up resources out of thin air. Like, we'll just do whatever we have to do to survive.
like I said, we're still learning this stuff. We're still learning how it is to be human. We're learning, like you said, discovering new minerals, resources, chemicals. I mean, stuff on Earth. I mean, this is stuff in science fiction. When was the movie Pandora or Avatar? We're going to this planet and we got this stuff called unobtainium. The stuff we're making it up, and you bring it back to Earth, and it's worth $50 billion. Seymour
Hoffman.
Seymour butts. Seymour
Brown
vaginas. No, thank you. I mean,
that's why we have this guy here.
yeah. I mean, no, I'd like to see more vaginas.
Well, the fact is, anything right now is possible, and so in 80 years, guaranteed, since this technological advancement, this wave that we're moving through, it's so unpredictable, it's so insanely exponential that we can't even imagine the things that we're...
Like the robotic
no.
will be for your profession in 80 years from now. Like, what do you think the gynecology profession is going to be like in 80 years from now?
Dude, I can't imagine, but it's gonna be crazy.
Well, we want you to.
Yeah, we want you a worded picture. Tons of synonyms.
No, don't take your pants off. Words.
Why
Words.
gynecology? I mean, I don't really know much about gynecology, but
skin.
You don't really need these in uterus. It goes into the vaginal canal, out the vagina, into this world.
Dude. Those fallopian tubes.
Mm.
Yeah, those fallopian tubes are there as well. It's tough to say. It'd be stupid to even imagine 80 years gynecologically, dermatologically, geologically. I think it's just going to be wild. We're just going to have to hopefully be alive for the journey.
Wild West, but with AI, right?
Basically.
Every robot for themselves.
I mean, job so we have less time to do more things. You look at that we get agriculture. We start harvesting plants, and now we have different tools. You look at something like the cotton gin. We started with the plow, and okay, now we're spending less time making food. Now we have more time, and now we have more time to go do these things. We're not worried about where our food's coming from. So I mean, if we're talking about more time, free time, not worrying about chopping, looking inside women's vaginas, I mean, it's just going to be efficient. Maybe a woman doesn't even have to go in. Fingers, put a machine to it, bam, I have to go in today. I have more time to go do the things I want to do. And hopefully that leads to, getting away from the gynecology, but, let's talk about a one world takeaway. some of these bureaucracy things. We look away welfare. We take away, if you want to say, Social Security, and we're giving people, everybody in your country, an annual income. Now that's the basis of the money that you would be getting or should be getting. We're all a lot of these bureaucratic organizations, these 3-letter organizations, and
the DEA, the CIA.
I mean, we added the DEA for the war on drugs. I mean,
it's just so hard to get rid of it once it's there. Hey, we all have these jobs. We've been doing this for years. We're just not doing it anymore. Like a government agency, it's like it's never like that. Like there's always more agencies that just spring up. And they never seem to go away. They're here to stay.
But I think we should. I mean, you look at the book, insightful about just the history of the Middle East in the past 100 years, the rise of extremism and Islamic terrorism. And they talk about just the amount of incompatibility and the lack of the CIA. The CIA didn't want to divulge the information to the FBI that knew about these the Saudi terrorists in the U.S. before this terrorist attack happening. They're not sharing this information, and they knew that this was going to happen. This is going to occur there, and these are just conflicting agencies, people with different jobs. They're competing against each other in the marketplace. But for what?
You tell me.
It's going to lead to the death of Americans, the people that they are supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
Nothing going on. Oh my God, the brownest dog.
Oh my God. So yeah,
dude, check that book out, Looming Towers. Yeah, it's actually.
I probably know, without having read it, I probably have the towers, the 3 towers.
No, it's the whole history of the past 100 years.
Oh, okay.
Like starting with Sadith Qutb. He was this Egyptian. Intellectually, this is on, and this happening, and that happening, and they thought it'd be a great move for him coming back there. But then, in turn, once he went back to Egypt, he got thrown in jail. He's really talking about problems with the West, the things he doesn't like about it.
Pete, me to cut you short. It's been a total of 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Wow, has it been that long already?
Yeah,
it feels
like
wow.
It's incredible how
that really went by very fast. I feel like
vagina
it's
and Dina
like 30, 45 minutes.
But you feel like you get a lot off your chest there?
Yeah, I mean, dude, let me know when you want me to come back as another guest speaker, and I'll be happy to come back. This was awesome. It's fun to just have a nice talk and talk about some
social media, this and that. They want to talk about medicine with you. They just want to shoot the shit with you. So they know if you're interested in character or cat, they can get a follow. They can get a greater detail of who you are.
Yeah, dude. I'm not a huge social media guy, but you can 0 instead.
You're not taking shots of your patients, are you?
No, definitely not. Don't expect. I don't really do anything with the. I like to keep my social life, which includes social media, kind of separate from my. Have a conversation about anything or have any questions. Then hit me up. You can also do Facebook and find me Jeff Morris, as I already said. That's how you'll get in touch with me on Facebook, and that's pretty much it. And guys, with you guys, this was great. You guys know a lot. Talk about a lot of good things.
Thanks, Jeff. No, we're really happy to have you. Everybody out there, thanks for giving us a listen. If you want to find me, I'm on Agent Smooth, the show notes. So give it a look and a follow. Again, Blum, anything?
I think that you've hit the nail on the head. We've got Dr. Money P in here. We've got the golden penis. Well, now they'll be calling him Dr. Money Golden Penis.
Don't you step crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy? Don't you step crazy? If I find my way home, yeah.
This is the move for those who